Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Time Traveler's Handbook. Today I will be starting a rather long series on Doctor Who, but first I wanted to explain what Doctor Who is and kind of give some background to this show because it is a very long running show and has a lot of history behind it. And I just kind of wanted to talk about that history for a minute. So light spoilers for Doctor Who in general ahead. I won't be referencing anything in any particular episode, but I will talk about Doctor Who as a whole. As I said, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about Doctor Who in the coming weeks. So what is it? Doctor Who is a show about a time traveler named the Doctor and the adventures that the Doctor has. It's been airing on and off since 1969 and is one of the longest running science fiction television shows ever made. The Doctor travels consistently with two things. The TARDIS, which is a time machine, and we'll talk about that more in the next episode, and at least one companion, who is usually an ordinary human from Earth who gets mixed up with the Doctor and subsequently joins them for the ride. The Doctor belongs to an alien race called the Time Lords and specifically has the ability to regenerate after death. This means that the actor or actress that is playing the Doctor can be replaced on a regular basis, and thus the show has many iterations of the Doctor. In total, there have been 13 main series Doctors, meaning that the Doctor has died at least 12 times and been brought back as a different actor. We'll be talking more about Time Lords and other time-traveling alien species as we go through the show. Now a little bit more about the history of the airing of the show. The show went on hiatus between 1989 and 1996, just for a television movie with the 8th Doctor, and then it was on a hiatus again until 2005. So there was a 16-year gap in the Doctor Who history, and now we are in something called the revived era, where we started with the 9th Doctor and have continued through the 13th Doctor, as it currently sits. I will not be diving into the years before 2005, primarily because, one, I haven't seen nearly enough to be an expert on them, but two, because the newer series tends to be a little bit more interesting and have a lot more interesting things to say about time travel, coming from reputable sources that have watched the previous episodes of Doctor Who. My brief history with Doctor Who started when it started airing again in 2005. My family would watch it together week by week as it came out, and I just never stopped watching it ever since it came out. I have explored some of the older serials from the 3rd, 4th, and 5th Doctor eras, but I grew up with the revived era of Doctor Who and have loved it ever since. Now, because it has been running since 2005 up through now, that's 16 years worth of Doctor Who content on and off. There are some years where they didn't produce anything or just released one episode. Things like that have happened in the past couple of years, but nevertheless, there is a lot to talk about. So for the future episodes that I will make talking about Doctor Who, I will specifically mention which episodes I will be talking about at the beginning of each episode, so you don't have to worry about receiving spoilers if you don't watch them. I won't be covering every single episode in the show, just the ones that I think have something interesting to say about time travel in general. That said, there will still be a lot of episodes, and this will probably take many weeks to get through. My goal is to talk about all of Doctor Who back to back for the next month, maybe two, but there may come a point where I need to take a break and talk about something else for a little bit. So there may be breaks in this series about Doctor Who, but I hope to be releasing a video about a new episode every single day. So, for the next episode, we're going to talk briefly about the Doctor's time machine, the TARDIS, as it is an important element of the show, and it's better to talk about it at the beginning and get it out of the way, just so you have some reference when we talk about it in later episodes. There are a lot of themes that you'll see that Doctor Who revisits over and over again, but the TARDIS is definitely worth talking about at the beginning. We'll see you next time, and thank you again for listening.